Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening. I've tried to shoot videos for opening booster packs for the last 3 days, and it has not worked out. Something has gone wrong each time, but at least I figured out what was going wrong. And although I can't actually fix it just yet, I do have a way to get it to work. Let's just call it that. And because I am tired, I have 12 booster packs left that I can open before the release this Friday and Saturday, so I'm just going to go with that. Well, actually, here's what I'll do. I'll open up these 6 here, and then tomorrow I'll open 6 more, and I'll upload that one as well for everybody to look through, and hopefully I can get through this pretty quickly. Let's find out. These are, I kind of went ahead and organized them by what's on the cover. Arlen Cord, Jace, 3 Sorens. Kind of want to open the other ones first. Oh well, we'll find out. Opening the first pack. Try not to talk too much, I guess. Nagging Thoughts. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Decent for Delirium. Has a Madness trigger, so that's pretty good. If you have to discard it for any other reason, you can actually play it instead. By the way, if you were to discard something for any costs and Madness is part of the trigger, the Madness will trigger first. So you'll be able to cast something with Madness before you're done. Like, for example, if you do Whispering Voice and you try to discard Nagging Thoughts, what would happen is you would actually cast Nagging Thoughts first, do the trick, and then you draw the 2 cards from Tormenting Voice or Whispering Madness or whatever it is. Vessel of Ephemera. Interesting. It's 1/1 white, and then 1/1 white sacrifice, and put 2 1/1 white spirit tokens with flying onto the battlefield. It's an interesting card. It works when you're when you're about to do a board wipe and you need to save it to put out creatures later, I guess. But otherwise, it's 5 mana for 2 1/1 spirits. Apothecary Geist. Drowned Yard Explorers. 4 mana for 2/4. When it enters the battlefield, investigate, which means, I think, I guess that's about right for cost. Otherwise, it would be almost 3 mana for 2/4. Ghoulcaller's Accomplice. 2/2 for 1/1 black. Decent card. Then you can exile it from your graveyard to put another 2/2 zombie token into play. Shambled Back. Exile target creature card from a graveyard, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield, and you gain 2 life. The original one, which was an instant that lets you exile a creature card and put a 2/2 zombie into play, it was a little bit better in my opinion. This, at sorcery speed, lets you gain 2 life. But I don't feel like that's actually enough to make it worthwhile. Uncaged Fury. 2 1 red. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains double strike. This is an excellent card. Plenty of trample targets to put it on, and 3 mana for the double strike's pretty good, but it also gives +1/+1. Next card, Byway Courier. Interesting, almost had Wooburg, except we start with blue. Byway Courier, 3 mana for 3/2. When it dies, investigate. Decent card. 3/2 for 3 is decent enough, and then being able to draw a card later on, or just having an artifact token, which would be terrific with if you do Metalcraft of any kind, or you need something according to the number of artifacts you control, or something gets a bonus for destroying artifacts, etc. Interesting. The current plan, I believe, is to go to a known plane, then an unknown plane, then a known plane, then an unknown plane. But since we're in Innistrad now, the next plane should be relatively unknown. If that's the case, it'll be something we've never heard of, or a new plane. And I'm crossing my fingers that new is good enough for New Phyrexia. Not Forgotten. Put target card from a graveyard on the top or bottom of its owner's library. Put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. This is an incredibly good card because it is Reclaim in white. For 1/1 white sorcery speed, you can put a card from your graveyard on top of your library. Or if it's somebody else's graveyard, you put it on the bottom of their library. Or if you need to deny them a draw, you can put something on top of their library that they can't use. Delay them for 1 full turn. And the other thing, putting a spirit token into play, that's just extra. That's even better. You get a token out of it, you'll potentially get a card back, or you can slow your opponent down. It's just, everything about that is an incredibly good card, especially in mono white. Inner Struggle. Target creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. 3/1 red, instant speed. Terrific creature removal in red. I'm kind of surprised that it even exists. Nearheath Captain. Lifelink. 3/1 for 4, and 2 and 1 white, exile it from your graveyard, put 2 1 white spirit tokens onto the battlefield, activate only anytime you can cast a sorcery. So this effect, there's actually a common version that does this effect, is flashback, but for creatures, essentially. So that's our 3 uncommons. We've got our rare. Olivia, mobilized for war, 3/3 flying for 3. Decent, all around decent. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. It gains haste until end of turn, and it becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. So, kind of reminds me of Ixava, being able to give something unleashed, so it would get +1/+1 and couldn't block. This being able to give something haste by discarding a card and getting +1/+1. Terrific if you have lands you need to get rid of, or something that can come back up to your hand every turn, like Squee or the Blood Rush rare goblin from Pyrewild Goblin, I believe it was. Decent card all around. Makes an interesting commander because it turns other cards into other creatures into vampires. Just have to keep refilling your hand somehow, which red can't really do, but black can by pulling things back out of your graveyard. Let's see, our flip card is Solitary Hunter, 4 mana for 3/4, decent power Tempest, and it flips to become a 5/6. That's not too bad. 4 mana for 5/6 is pretty good. Let's see, it's a flip card. I'm not sure where to put those on the list, or on the table, I mean. Then we appear to have an additional flip card. That is weird. Huh. Hanweir, Militia Captain. That's why do we have an extra flip card? 2 mana for 2/2. At the beginning of upkeep, if you control 4 more creatures, flip. Cult Leader. Power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control, which means it would be a 4/4 creature. And at the beginning of your end step, put a 1/1 white and black human cleric token onto the battlefield, which should make it into a 5/5. So it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So that is really unusual. I'm kind of surprised that they don't have the little foil seal on both sides. Kind of looks weird not seeing it on this half of the card. I guess we'll do the flip cards over like that, and this will be a checklist. Yeah, this will be a token. Yeah, oh, clue token, nice. Let's see, we'll put clue tokens over here, and checklist cards right underneath it. If we get any land cards, we'll set those aside as well, but so far we've got Wooburg, colorless, or color, they'll put little artifacts here. Next booster. It's so weird that there were 2 in this pack. But this was from the pre-release, so I wonder if that's from why it was like that. Puncturing Light, reprint. Sleep Paralysis, I think that's actually a reprint as well. Inquisitor's Ox, Wicker Witch, Scarecrow's Rival just got more powerful. 3 mana for 3/1, but with a Reaper King, it becomes a permanent, a way to remove permanents. Murderous Compulsion, destroy target tapped creature, and has a Madness ability as well, which is decent, I think. Murderous Compulsion, destroy target tapped creature. Great way to get rid of things, actually. Just Vigilance can't touch it, I guess. Ember Eye Wolf, decent power and toughness, has haste, can pump it up. Let's see, Equestrian Skill, enchant creature gets +3/+3. If it is a human, it has trample. Decent. Reminds me of the old card Gia's Embrace, except Gia's Embrace also gave the ability to regenerate, so there's that. Sorry. Stromkirk Mentor, 4 for 4/2. Puts a +1/+1 counter on another creature, so essentially 5/3 for 4. Tormenting Voice, that is the card. When cast it, discard a card, draw 2 cards. So if you were to use Murderous Compulsion, you would actually destroy the target tapped creature first, and then you draw the 2 cards. Just keep that in mind when you're playing, that you do the Madness cost, since it's part of paying the cost of playing the card has to be, the Madness trigger happens before the card is ever played, or at least before it resolves. Veteran Cathar, 3/1 white, target human gains double strike until end of turn, 2/2 for 2. It can target itself, so that's something to consider. Bound by Moonsilver, enchanted creature can't attack, block, or transform, sacrifice a permanent, and you can attach Bound by Moonsilver to target creature, activate this ability only anytime you cast a sorcery, and only once per turn. So if a bigger threat comes out, attach it to that threat instead. Ulvenwald Mysteries, 3 mana, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a 1/1 human soldier creature token in play. Nice. So kind of helps you pay back all the creatures you lose, and then you have all those tokens. Interesting idea. So here's our rare card. Invocation of Saint Trapped, 3 mana, enchant creature. When it attacks, you put a 4/4 white Angel Screech token with flying onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking, and exile the token in turn. So this is really interesting. In blue and white, it gives a 4/4 haste Angel token, but just putting it on something else that is also attacking. Decent card. I can see people wanting to get their hands on these. In Standard, that's just incredible to have a control deck, and if you can figure out another creature you can put into play and put the invocation on, then it becomes even more powerful. Flip card is Hinterland Logger. 2/1 for 2. Transforms to become a 4/2 with trample. Decent card. Checklist. Yep. And our token card is another clue. Pack 3. Angelic Purge is additional cost to cast it. Sacrifice a permanent exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment. Press for answers. Tap target creature, doesn't untap during controller's act, next untaps it. Sorcery speed, 1/1 blue, and you investigate, so you get a clue token out of it. Next card. Inquisitor's Ox, 2/5 with Delirium, it gets +1/+0 and Vigilance, making it a 3/5 for 4. Blood Mad Vampire, 4/1 for 3 mana. Whenever it deals the combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Madness of 1 and 1 red. Wow. So you could, for 1 and 1 red, have a 4/1 creature on your opponent's turn. It's just interesting. Because the madness cost, it goes over it being a sorcery or being a creature speed. You don't have to, you do it at roughly instant speed. Rancid Rats, 1/1 Skulk, Death Touch. Fiery Temper, 3 damage, or it becomes a lightning bolt for madness. Clip Wings, each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. Decent. Farbog Revenant, 3 mana for 1/3, Skulk, lifelink. Rush of Adrenaline, target creature gets +2/+1 and trample until end of turn. Decent card. In Limited, it's actually extremely powerful because you bet on chump blocking in Limited more often, so being able to suddenly give something trample and +2/+1 is really, really strong. Trail of Evidence, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, investigate. Reckless Scholar, tap, target player draws a card, then discards a card. That's a reprint, I believe. Looks very Is-It to me. Stone Quarry, colorless, so we'll put it over here. Lands are colorless. And last card will be Welcome to the Fold. Madness of X and 2 blue, but anyway. Gain control of target creature if its toughness is 2 or less, if Welcome to the Fold's madness cost was paid. Instead, gain control of target creature if its toughness is X or less. Sorcery speed, it's an odd card, honestly. I mean, being able to grab things, madness, I don't get it. If they were to bring back, like, Forbid or something like that, or they said, like, in addition to casting this card where it's 2 blue mana, counter target spell, but you had to discard a card, then you could cast that and gain control of something, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Accursed Witch. Spells your opponent's cast that target Accursed Witch costs 1 less. When she dies, return Transform attached, and the return of curses. Enchant player. Spells you cast the target enchanted player costs 1 less to cast. At the beginning of upkeep, of enchanted player's upkeep, that player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Interesting card. Very, very interesting card. Checklist. And token. Clue. Getting 3 clues. Not bad. Pack 4. I'm so glad that my camera hasn't stopped working suddenly. Vessel of Ephemera. We've seen that before. Vessel of Paramnesia. Interesting. It lets you draw a card when you sacrifice it and do the ability. So it's decent. Ethereal Guidance. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. That's amazing that white has the ability to pump it pump at spell speed there. Hound of the Farbogs. 5/3 for 5. Delirium gives it menace. Throttle. Target creature gets -4/-4. Instant speed for 5 mana, 4 and 1 black. Vessel of Volatility. Bah. I've got too many things on my mind. 1/1 red, and then 1/1 red, and it gives you 4 red mana, so it can filter your mana to make it red, or if you wait, play this on turn 2, turn 3 comes around, you play another land, you tap 1/1 red, sacrifice it, you now have 5 mana on turn 3, which is incredible. In red, by itself, getting 5 mana on turn 3, I'm not speechless, but I think that's incredible that they have a card like that now. Thornhide Wolves, 4/1 green for 4/5. It is the it's not Spined Worm, but it's the equivalent of Spined Worm. Redwood Treefolk or something? No, Redwood Treefolk was 3/6. Rancid Rats. Creeping Dread, sorry. 4 mana, 3/1 black. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player discards a card. Each opponent who discarded a card that shares a card type with the card you discarded loses 3 life. You reveal the discarded cards simultaneously. And with Madness, they could still lose the 3 life, but that's an interesting card. I might want to see the ruling on that. Woodland Stream. I think that's only 2. So this is Silver Strike. Destroy target attacking creature and you gain 3 life. Decent. 4 mana. Instant. You gain life. You destroy an attacking creature. It's worthwhile. The rare card is Seasons Past. 6 mana. Return any number of cards with different converted mana costs from your graveyard to your hand. Put Seasons Past on the bottom of its owner's library. Very, very interesting card. Obviously, you can go 0 cost for lands or artifacts that are 0 cost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. However many. In Commander, this will be a very interesting card, I think. Our flip card is Autumnal Gloom, 2/1 green. Put the top card of your library into your graveyard. Delirium at the beginning of your end step. If there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, transform. It becomes a 4/4 trample hexproof creature. Autumn Willow. It really is. It's Autumn Willow. Interesting card. 3 mana, and you can put cards from your library into your graveyard, but Delirium triggers it, making it a 4/4 trample hexproof. So if you keep your eye on Delirium, you could put 1 or 2 of these in your deck, and then once you get to that part of the game, man, they're really building towards bringing back a Winter Orb or Static Orb-like card, in my opinion. And we have an extra card. It is a very nice card that I've been looking for. It is Traverse the Ulvenwald. For 1 green mana, search your library for basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Delirium. If there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, instead search your library for a creature or land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. This is an incredible card for Commander. And it's foil. Wow. I'm so happy that I got one of these. Wow. I will set it over here where it's safe. Actually, I want to sleeve it. I will sleeve it. Wow. Our checklist card, and we have an insect token. Pack number 5. Wow. Pieces of the Puzzle. 3 mana, reveal the top 5 cards. Put up to 2 instant and/or sorcery cards from among them into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. Thraben Inspector, 1/2 for 1 white mana. Enters battlefield, investigate. So you get an artifact card without playing artifacts. It's decent. Silverlind Snapper, 6/6, can't attack unless you cast a non-creature spell, which is nice for prowess trigger type effects. Explosive Apparatus, Eaglepile. Vessel of Volatility, another one. Cascade Dire Swine, 6/6 for 6, has trample if you have Delirium. Macabre Waltz. Return up to 2 target cards from your graveyard to your hand, then discard a card. The interesting thing about the set is with Delirium and all these triggers, Mill is actually still pretty powerful with all the effects, but nobody's really playing it. And Delirium is going to further keep them from wanting to play it, unfortunately. Pyrehound. 4 mana for 2/3 trample. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you put a +1/+1 counter on Pyrehound. That's a neat little effect right there. Let's see. Might Beyond Reason. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Delirium, you put 3 instead. Moonlight Hunt. Choose target creature you don't control. Each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf deals damage equal to its power to that creature. Halfway predicted that as a card. Kind of, maybe. It's just a neat effect, and I don't know. Compelling Deterrence. Interesting removal card for blue. Graph Mole. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, gain 3 life. Green gets a weird control deck in this set. Brain in a Jar, another card that I was hoping to get. The interesting thing is it allows you to cast sorcery spells on your opponent's turn. You can pump up its effect, cast the spells. Has to have exactly the number of charge counters as the card you're trying to play. But you can also remove X card, charge counters, and scry X. Decent card. I'm pretty sure this would actually let you play Ancestral Visions. Pretty sure. See, because then you may cast an instant or sorcery card. Well, you actually put a charge counter so it wouldn't have 0, so you can't do Ancestral Visions. Darn it. That was recently unbanned, too. Let's see. Harvest Hand, 3 mana for 2/2. When it dies, return to the battlefield transformed. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. As long as it, as equipped creature is a human, it has Menace. Equips for only 2. Just in case anybody needs to get a ruling on it, when this side goes to the graveyard, it comes back transformed. When this side goes to the graveyard, it stays in the graveyard as this, because whenever every creature goes to the graveyard and looks for a triggered ability, it looks at its last state, so this would not come back into play every time it died. Let's put it there. Checklist card. Nope, we got a land this time. I'm surprised. And Spirit Token. That's a new Spirit Token. Nice. The 6th and final pack. And at least for this video. I've droned on enough. Niblis of Dusk, 2/1 Flying Prowess. Much like the 2/1 Flying Prowess from Tarkir block. Unruly Mob. Whenever creature you control dies, put +++ counter. Pieces of the Puzzle. Just talked about it. Ghoulcaller's Accomplice. Seagraph Scab, 1/3 for 2. Zombie. True Faith Sensor. Decent card. Really, really nice and limited. Grotesque Mutation. People have pointed out that the artwork for this, go look at the old artwork for Nevinyrral's disc. Although I might be mispronouncing Nevinyrral. But Nevinyrral, by the way, is Larry Niven, spelled backwards. But target creature gets +2/+1 and gains lifelink until end of turn. Gosh, that's such a good card. Being able to gives black a version of Incinerate, 1/1 black, to deal an extra 3 damage to something, like if it's blocking, or deal 3 damage to the opponent with a creature that was unblocked, but also giving it lifelink is incredible. Just incredible. See, Vampire Noble, 3/2 for 3. Vampire Tribal, of course. Howlpack Wolf, 3/3 for 3. Can't block unless you control another werewolf or wolf. But if you're playing a 3/3 for 3 and you're playing red, you're swinging out every turn. You don't care about blocking. Obsessive Skinner, 1/1 for 2, 1 and 1 green. When Obsessive Skinner enters battlefield, put a +++ counter on target creature at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep. If there are 4 more cards, types among cards in your graveyard, put a +++ counter on target creature. So it keeps getting bigger during each upkeep if you have Delirium. Decent card. Invasive Surgery stops sorcery spells. And Griff's Boon. Last rare card is 2 Brain in the Jar. That's ridiculous, but I'll take it. And Pious Evangel, 2/2 for 3. Whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield under my control, I gain a life. And 2 black, transform it, and it becomes 2/4 Wayward Disciple. Whenever it or another creature you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Because of it being both black and white, it means you will have to play it in a black and white commander deck. But this works so good in Karlov. Checklist card. And Spirit Token. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. 2 brains in a jar. That's an interesting thing. Getting the 2 flip cards in the same pack. That's weird. Getting a foil Traverse the Ulvenwald. That's incredible. Again, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're having a wonderful morning, wonderful afternoon, and or a wonderful evening, and I hope tomorrow's even better. Take care, everyone.